Hello and welcome to this fourth session, which is all about forms and procedures and documents and where to find them. So we're going to start where we've started on every video, which is on our dashboard. So this is the My Summary dashboard. We talked in the last session about the tasks, what a task was, how to find the task, how to create a task, how to amend a task, and how to submit a task. Okay. Now we need to look at what else is there on the ClearCare systems. The tasks are all from 3 libraries that have been internally populated within the system. There are, however, other documents. Now, as a company, we also have our own large library of Spring Care for You documents. And some of those, like your staff handbook, we've put up onto ClearCare as well because it makes it easy for you to find them on one system instead of having to go off onto several different filing systems on the computer to be able to get to the same place, essentially, to get the information that you need. And they are all under this section, either under forms and procedures, which is there, or documents. Now let's have a look at forms and procedures first of all. So we mentioned in the last section that we had this range of libraries. Now I'm going to show you what the library looks like. So we're inside these libraries now in this section on forms and procedures. And you can see that when I mentioned to you last time that they were almost like 3 libraries. So you had young people, you had employees, you had homes. And I said, think of them like you're going into 3 different libraries or sections of a very big library if you want, and you're selecting what you need under those particular headings. Who are they for, was the question I kept asking. So if I need to know what library to go into, I'm going to ask the question, who is the document for? If it's for the home, if it's for the purpose of the home, it's going to be a home form, and so on, a young person form and an employee. Now here's an interesting little thought. I told you that the filing cabinet drawers grow. So I'm saying these are the drawers where they're all stored once they've been completed, once we've finished the tasks. And there's the first time I can show you that there are other forms. So essentially, when you create ClearCare, you specify what the filing cabinet drawers are all going to be labelled. So I've, if you like, given them all a label and popped them on the drawers. And as it creates a new document, it goes, right, I will now take one of the drawers and put it into the filing cabinet with the document inside it. So there is an example of where all of your documents go. And as you see, at the moment, there isn't something specifically about annual leave forms, but when you have annual leave request forms, they'd all go into there. Vehicle maintenance forms will all go into there. So you have got a form template there. That's what's in there. But eventually in there, you would have documents as well about the different schedules that you'd had. It makes them very easy because you've got like card check week 1, card check week 2, card check week 3, and so it goes on. And it just builds them up inside. We talked about having the employee forms, and there was all the specific ones for an employee. And you'll see, this is a very quick review of what we did last time. It's quite a different set of forms to the young person's forms and the home forms. So that is quite key. Once you understand that you may need to look through more than one of the libraries to find the right form and who's it for, then you can proceed from there. So that's all about your main forms and procedures, and that comes under a tab called Forms and Procedures, funny enough. But there's also, let's have a little look here, a tab called Procedures there, and you may think, what on earth are those? Well, you'll be pleased to know that we're not going to look at those today, but be aware that when ClearCare talks about procedures, it's not the same as me talking about procedures. I'm sorry, I'm trying to complicate things here. When I'm talking about procedures, I'm talking about the things that make our company work, how to do, method statements, whatever. When ClearCare talks about procedures, like on this page here, Clear care is referring to different sets of instructions that you give it. So it might be on a Monday, you do a cleaning form, and the cleaning form goes to shift A. That's what ClearCare will call a procedure. And gradually, as we get the full team in and we start, we can add and make these procedures. So essentially, what it's doing is it's linking the library, the form, and the staff together into what it calls a procedure. What we call a procedure, or an operating procedure, is something where we are defining all the stages that we need completed for that job, if you like, to be done. Hope that makes it clear. So at the moment, I've told you all of that just to say, at the moment you don't need to worry about procedures on this section. But we've looked at the forms already, and as I say, you can, if you want to at some point, have a look through, and you'll find there's about 200 different forms. Now, if you were looking down these and you couldn't find them all, let me just show you that it says 20 per page. If you want to see every form, remembering they're alphabetical, so it doesn't take long to find them, you can go all the way through. There we are. You just have to put all, see? And then if you say, right, now I want to do them in reverse alphabetical order or whatever, by clicking on these, it will give you, see the little arrow there? You can alter there from Y to A, or A to Y. So it's just little things that you can think about that makes it a little bit easier to search. But there are the names of the different, if you like, libraries that they're in. So you're beginning to see how it's all coming together now. So that's your forms. Now let's have a look at the documents section. What's the difference? Well, in the documents section, we've got, again, this is something that we've created as a management team. So we have, as a company, as I said, a large number of forms, procedures, documents, and they've all had to be manually put onto ClearCare. And all the forms are already built into the form section, the form creator within ClearCare. But some of our documents that are procedures, like our staff handbook, we haven't written that onto ClearCare, but we have uploaded it as a document. So there it is. And you say, well, how are we going to find that? And you can find that by going down this section here. And in there are a certain amount of your books, manuals, procedures, and we'll keep growing there. So there, for example, look, is a team leader one, residential support worker, a welcome letter, application form even we've got, deputy manager. But there's also a load of staff procedures. So this gives us another load of the company's different procedures that we have, and these are operating procedures for staff. There's also operating procedures for children, relating to children again, and it goes back to what I said. We've done the same thing. We've said, who is the procedure for? Well, this is a procedure for a child. It's about logging action. That's a procedure about supporting children with complaints, about homely remedies and first aid for children. But if you want to see the recruiting procedures, or the recruiting forms, or the recruiting documents, you can go into that section, and look at that. If you want to look at the specific staff procedures as to how staff are to do things, then they're all there. So what's reflective practice, how to do key working, how to manage medication. And then, as I said, all the core documents like your handbook and so on go under the core documents. Now, how did I find that? It was under the very unhelpfully titled manuals. And that's all that is created by ClearCare. That is not created by me. That's created by ClearCare. And it's just, I'm afraid, something that you have to get used to their terminology. So when you're in the manual section, it will show you all of the different type of document, if you like, that we have internally as a company. And there's one more in this tutorial to show you. Now, there are also a load of staff policies. And if I were to do that, you will see that in fact as a company we have 185 different policies. 185. So you're not going to be expected to know all of these, but we've had to write them all. Now, some, as you saw, of the forms written into ClearCare, but of course the policies, we can't do that. We have to just upload them. So we've uploaded all the forms, all the policies, all the procedures into the ClearCare system so that you've got built-in forms, built-in libraries of forms, but also documents that you can draw upon, for example, like your policies and your procedures. How do you get to them though? If we said about going into the ClearCare system and creating a task, you can't create a task to find the policies. What you can do is you can download them like that. So if I want my COSH policy, there's the company's COSH policy. Why have we done it like that? Because it can't be altered. It is, you can read it, it's designed to be read, but it means that no one can come into our system from outside or even within the company and start changing them all. You can download them, it's as simple as that. Now, if you have the right permissions, of course, you can delete or add documents, but most people won't. I just wanted to show you what happens in the actions section there. But you can also, let's try just one thing here. So if I went to that one, I'm thinking I should be able to export that to a PDF. Let's have a look what happens. And there we are. It tells me that I selected one policy. If I just had done all of the policies, this would be full of the different policies that we have on the system. It's just, again, ClearCare works in so many different ways. And I'm just trying to give you a flavour for it. But now we're going to go back to learning points. So what we've tried to learn in this session is that you have built in 3 libraries of forms, and the forms which you're going to fill in and create the tasks with are in the 3 libraries of what happens in the home, for the child, for the staff. They're all different, and as you saw, when you create a task you get the option to look at any of those 3 libraries and pull the one out, fill it in, that's your task completed. And then you submit it or keep it as a draft if you want to work on it a bit longer. But we also said that that's not the end of the story. A company doesn't just have built-in forms, it also has policies, procedures, and also manuals, just general working manuals like your staff handbook and so on. There you can see that that comes under documents, and as I said, it's very helpfully entitled manuals, not procedures, not policies. It's entitled manuals, and under manuals you've got general manuals, but you've also got procedures for staff and for children all there. So if you then want to see the company's 185 policies, underneath manuals, you've got policies. And again, they are things that haven't been categorized. And that's just something ClearCare does. It creates these staff policies, children policies, home, but certain ones it can't find a suitable category for. So it's always worth having a look at them. Or if you want to see all of them, you just look at the All tab, go to the bottom of the page and change that 20 to all, and you'll see all 185 then, and it will put them into alphabetical order for you. Okay, so be aware that when you have filled in the form, when you first start with ClearCare and it asks you, have you read the policies, that's where you'll find them all, and that's the expectation that you will have at least looked through them all, and that you will be aware of what's in the system, because what we don't want is people creating new forms and following their own policies and procedures when they're all written here. They are all in the same type of format, they all look the same or similar, so which is important for us as a company to keep that consistency. So I hope going back to our summary, that's a helpful way of looking at it, and what the documents tab and the forms and procedures tabs, those two, are about. Any questions, give me a call or an email and I'll be glad to try and assist you.